Hi, my name is Deb Johnston. I'm the host of the Women Reinventing Midlife Summits. And as a transformational coach, I work with women in the midlife phase and beyond to rediscover you, find new direction, and create the amazing life that you want and deserve. One of the things that I've heard and often read before that midlife is the autumn of our life. Midlife is the autumn of our life. And as we move into our elderly years, that's the winter of our life. Where that may be true to a certain extent, it's important that we realize that there's so much more to this, because if we don't, we can get stuck in confusion and a bit of a slump as we move into this phase of life. What's important to realize is that every phase of life that we go through has 4 seasons in it. So it has a spring part of the phase, it has a summer part of the phase, it has an autumn part of the phase, and it has a winter part of the phase. So just as midlife may be the time when we're moving into the autumn part of our life, it's also a new beginning. So it's also a spring. There's also a spring season that's involved in this. So if you think back to the different phases of life that you've been through throughout your life, there's time when you started school. When you started school, there was this spring part when everything was all brand new. It may have been exciting. It may have been a difficult time, depending on how you felt about going to school for the first time. But it was all brand new. Everything was new. Everything was out of your comfort zone. And then after you've been there in school for a little while, you move into the summer period where you start to feel a lot more comfortable. Everything's starting to, you're starting to blossom, everything's starting to blossom. Everything's feeling a lot warmer. You feel a lot more comfortable in that space in school because you've got used to it. We then move into the autumn part of our school years where we start to harvest the benefits of the seeds that we've sown through the spring and the summer. So we start to harvest the benefits of that. So we start to harvest the benefit of our learning. And then as we move into the winter phase of our school years, so the winter phase is when our school years are coming to an end and we're ready to move out of the school environment and either go to university or start a job, and the seasons start again. In each of those years also that we're in school, we also have the 4 seasons. So each year that begins, we have the spring part of the season where it's a new class, it's a new year. The things that we're learning are a little bit more challenging. The things that we do every day are a little bit different. Then we move into the summer part where it starts to get a little easier. Then we move into the autumn when we take our exams and we start to reap the harvest of what we've learned throughout that school year. And then we move into the winter phase where we rest and we get ready for another new year beginning. And the same thing happens when we start our first job. The same thing happens when we have our first child. The same thing happens when we reach midlife. So what society says that it is the autumn of our life, it's important to realize that it is also the spring of this phase of life. So what that means is that when we get to midlife, it's important that we start to challenge ourselves by doing new things because we're in the spring phase of midlife. Midlife and beyond has the potential to be the best part of our life when we have the right tools, when we have the right resources, when we have an empowering mindset to take us through that phase. So it's important in the first phase of midlife or wherever you are, even if you've been in midlife for a while and you feel a bit stuck, it's important to start doing things that are a little bit different. Just as you would when you first started school, when you first became a parent, when you first started your new job, start doing things that are a little bit different. Start to look for things that you think you might enjoy. Start to join new groups where you can make new friends. Start to maybe learn new things. Start to really explore in these early years. This is the spring part. And if we make good use of this spring part, we can really have an amazing summer or an amazing autumn. I'm not talking about the weather here. I'm talking about the phases of life that we go through. And the spring part may also be starting to explore who we really are. It's about delving into those things that we don't normally delve into, just as we do in springtime. You know, we new things are happening, new things are growing, and we only start to grow when we start to do different things. We start to learn different things, we start to explore different things. So enjoy the spring phase of midlife, enjoy it and embrace it for what it is, because it helps us grow, it helps us expand, it helps us really enjoy this next phase of life. Lots of love to you.